Congratulations and welcome to the class of 2021. As you know, this virtual commencement will later be followed up with a live, in-person ceremony once you're in a position to do that kind of thing. So you'll have multiple occasions to celebrate and commemorate your graduation. And if any class was ever worth me taking my regalia out of mothballs more than once in a year, it is you. I've been thinking about this arduous past year that you have endured. It's common when discussing long and difficult challenges or experiences to compare them to a marathon. And certainly this pandemic is like a marathon, in that it is something I personally have experienced one time in my life and hope never to have to deal with again. But on a deeper level, it occurs to me that there's a significant way that it resembles a marathon, but another significant way that it doesn't. A marathon, as you may know, is 26.2 miles. But interestingly, in training for a marathon, you're very unlikely to ever run that far. Now, my knowledge of these matters mostly comes from Professor Janger, with whom I prepared for the one marathon I have ever done, and who served as my guide, as well as offering a literal running commentary as he talked his way through all of our lengthy jogs. So if I did it wrong, it's his fault. But anyway, the interesting thing about marathon training is that you never actually run a marathon until the day of the marathon. Usually your longest training run is 20 miles. So on marathon day, you're running another 6.2 miles on top of that, which, if you're good at math, you will know is adding another 31% past the farthest run you have ever done. You don't know until you are doing it whether you really can do it. And in that way, this past year has been like a marathon, and specifically like those last 6.2 miles. None of us was ready for this. None of us has done this before, and in your case, this is being added on top of a really hard thing you have already done. Running that first 20 miles, or being in law school, is hard enough before suddenly someone adds all this extra stuff on top of it. But of course, your challenge has been even harder because of the way the pandemic is not like a marathon, namely that a marathon has a finish line. You may have to run a new and unfamiliar 6.2 miles, but at least you know it's 6.2 miles, and if you make it that far, you're done. You, class of 2021, did not have the privilege of knowing when you started this race how long it would be or how much it would take out of you. That sure makes it hard to pace yourself. And yet, here you are. I certainly cannot say as I record this that we have made it to the end of the pandemic. But as you hear this, you know that you have made it to the finish line of your legal education. And in these extraordinary times, that is an extraordinary thing in which you should take pride forever. We're here today to honor that effort and to recognize you. At some point, we'll do this again in person, as I've said, and I hope that won't be all. I know there are a lot of things you probably expected to experience in your last year of law school, but did not, in terms of your education, your extracurricular activities, or your social life. I'm afraid that many of those missed opportunities cannot be recreated. Yet there is one thing that is essential to the Brooklyn Law School experience that we were unable to give you this year, but that I hope we will still be able to rectify. I am talking, of course, about free food. From the lunchtime pizza at a student organization meeting, to the pigs in blankets, various deep-fried items, and occasionally even beer and wine at evening events, whose only price was attending a conference with a bunch of professors. Those of you who are paying attention and looking to maximize your cost-free caloric intake had ample opportunity to do so in your first year and a half, only to find the spigot cut off just as you were really getting the hang of it. Well, I'm hoping we can make up for that in at least some small way. So I'm telling you now that once socializing is a normal thing again, anytime a small group of 3 or 4 or 8 of you wants to get together, reach out to me at michael.cahill@brooklaw.edu, and on behalf of Brooklyn Law School, I will take you all out for either a fancy drink or a non-fancy dinner, as the case may be. I may even bring one of your favorite professors along if you want that, and if I can convince that person to come. Consider this an open invitation. It is, and I mean this, the least your law school can do for you, and something you have earned many times over. Class of 2021, congratulations and thank you for your resilience, your dedication, and your patience with me and my colleagues as we've all made our way through this past year. I wish you all the best and only the best.
Hello, Brooklyn Law School. This is Senator Chuck Schumer, and it's my honor to address the faculty and staff, the families and friends of the graduates, but most of all, you, the class of 2021. Congratulations, you've made it. Now, I'm really sorry I can't join you in person, as I do almost every year, but I'm grateful that modern technology allows us to still be connected on this graduation day. You are special, and I wouldn't want to miss congratulating you, COVID or not. First, a quick word to the parents. As a parent myself, I know how hard it is to raise kids these days and how much you've invested in them. But it all pays off as you watch your son or daughter receive their diploma and become an adult before your very eyes. Let's have a virtual round of applause to the moms and dads. These have been unusual and difficult times. The challenge of these moments are truly unique, but so has been our collective response. The fact that we're still celebrating this graduation and not letting COVID stand in the way, even if we're celebrating differently, just goes to show that New Yorkers won't let anything stop us from honoring what's so important in life. And nothing can take away from the fact that you've earned a degree from such a fine institution of higher learning. We have a long way to go, but for the first time in more than a year, we can start to think about what it'll be like to return to normal. We're beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel, thanks to safe and highly effective vaccines. It's nothing short of a medical miracle, and I'm proud to have helped lead the way in Congress by prioritizing vaccine research, production, and most of all, distribution, so that everyone who wants a vaccine can now get one. And as Senate Majority Leader, the first ever from New York, I worked hard to pass the American Rescue Plan, which is putting money in the pockets of people and small businesses who have been hurt by this crisis and helping our society recover in so many different ways. Now, I'm pushing President Biden to forgive $50,000 in student loans, a crushing burden for millions of recent graduates around the nation. With a flick of a pen, he could wipe this debt clean and create a brighter future for so many people, including many of you. So, class of 2021, my message to you is simple. Right now, it may feel like the future is uncertain. Many of you may not be sure what you're going to do next, but what has been true throughout history is just as true today. That even in times of difficulty, there are always new opportunities, new ways of thinking, of doing things a better way. It's natural to fear the unknown, and I'm sure many of you do right now. But don't let the harshness of this past year prevent you from seizing new opportunities. They're out there. You just have to keep your eyes open to them. And don't forget, you have incredible assets, a degree from a great institution, and loving families who will have your back through thick and thin. Our nation is overcoming this pandemic, and we need your help and your courage to rebuild our country even stronger than it was before. This past year has revealed the injustices and prejudices that persist in our society, and we can't just go back to the way things used to be. We must make our society better, and we know we will, because you are our future leaders, and we have faith in you. So I say once again to Brooklyn Law School class of 2021, congratulations, good luck, Godspeed.
Greetings, family, friends, faculty, and most importantly, the class of 2021. It is an honor to speak to you today. And while this is certainly not the commencement we anticipated, today is nonetheless a big day for all of us, and is a time to celebrate both what we've already accomplished and all that we have before us. As I reflect on my time at Brooklyn Law School, I can't help but feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude. And so on behalf of the class of 2021, I want to thank everyone who has helped us reach this milestone. Thank you to those who inspired us and encouraged us to attend law school, those who took the time to mentor us and to help us see the value and potential of a legal career. Thank you to the amazing law school staff for enabling our education and for your efforts in managing the seamless transition to remote class. Thank you to the administration for working tirelessly to assure that we were provided with an exceptional legal education and for making the tough but necessary decisions as you guided the law school through the pandemic. Thank you to the Brooklyn Law School faculty for shaping the way we think, for helping us see that legal doctrines and theories are more than just words on a page, and for introducing us to the elegance within some areas of the law and the injustice within others. We especially appreciate your effort in adapting over the last year and a half to ensure that the quality of your instruction remained the same. And we thank you for taking the time to cultivate genuine relationships with us, relationships that will hopefully last a lifetime. Thank you to our family and friends who have sacrificed and supported us in various ways throughout this journey. Thank you for your understanding and patience while we have been overwhelmed and frustrated. Thank you for just being there for us and for your willingness to listen to yet another rant about outlining, finals, or the curve. And thank you for feigning interest as we share with you some legal nuance that we know you are not really that interested in hearing. I want to give a special shout out to my wife and fellow Brooklyn Law alum. Sophia, you have been a mentor and a peer, a source of both inspiration and support. There is simply no way I could have achieved this without you, and I cannot thank you enough. And finally, I want to thank my fellow classmates. I am so honored to be part of a diverse, driven, and intelligent class of students. I know we are all tired of hearing this, but we are a law school class unlike any other. This past year and a half has showcased the resilience and determination of our class as we endured considerable challenges to reach this point. Looking back, I am most grateful for the relationships I have built with my fellow classmates during my time at Brooklyn Law School. It has been a pleasure getting to know you and learning about your different backgrounds, walks of life, interests, and aspirations. I couldn't ask for a better group of peers to struggle through the crucible that was 1L with. And it was those strong connections that we forged early on that sustained me throughout, and especially during the last year and a half. I look forward to keeping track of all your accomplishments and achievements, and I am so fortunate to have a professional and personal network that I know I can rely on going forward. I want to conclude by turning to a piece of literature that has been particularly meaningful to me. The poem If by Rudyard Kipling, for those of you not familiar with it, is a great piece of Victorian-era Stoicism. It has long been a source of inspiration and has been especially meaningful to me throughout law school. I turn to this poem at times where I felt particularly lost, overwhelmed, and unsure of myself, and it seems only fitting to quote it now. I just want to share one piece of the poem, and that's its ending, which I feel is particularly appropriate for this occasion. And it goes, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And so as we officially conclude our time at Brooklyn Law School, and as we set out to begin our careers as newly minted attorneys, my wish for the members of the class of 2021 is that regardless of where we go or what we do, we take what we have learned during our time at Brooklyn Law, and we fill each unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. Congratulations to the class of 2021. I wish you all the best of luck, and I look forward to celebrating with you in person.
Congratulations, class of 2021. First, please indulge me a bit while I thank all of you for providing me with an honor that I'll remain grateful for the rest of my life. Over 3 years ago, just before we started our first semester here at Brooklyn Law School, I reached out to many of you via a social media page provided by the school for our class. I did this in hopes of organizing a student mixer to provide an opportunity for us to meet each other and develop relationships before the school year even started. We made that happen, and after overcrowding a restaurant, filling 2 bars to capacity, and spending one unforgettable evening together, many of us had met classmates who, over the next 3 years, would become our best friends, sources of much-needed support and love, and in a twist none of us could have predicted, the individuals with whom we would navigate a pandemic. I cannot express what an honor it is for me to be able to bookend both the start and the end of our time at BLS. So thank you once again. One of the great philosophers of our time, Tony Soprano, once said, "Remember when is the lowest form of conversation." But I missed the Sopranos episodes where Tony spent over a year locked inside a shoebox-sized New York City apartment to avoid a modern-day plague. So I'm going to take some liberties here and dwell in the remember when for a while. Over the past 14 months of remote learning, I've found myself missing an assortment of experiences and interactions. Interactions that were once mundane aspects of our lives as students at BLS. Obviously, I missed seeing everyone in the lounges and the cafeteria, pre-class small talk, and the oh so familiar smell of my little pizzeria in the lobby at the lunch hour multiple days a week. However, I've also missed some of the more nuanced law school normacies, like awkward elevator rides with professors. I missed watching the slow but steady shift in student attire from business professional or business casual at the start of the semester to sweatpants and hoodies as we got closer to finals. I truly missed the palpable spirit of commiseration expressed between passersby in the halls, perfect strangers, connected to one another simply by the fact that both of them were studying for corporations at 1 a.m. on a Wednesday night. In all sincerity, I missed interacting with every single one of you. And I really missed those massage chairs we had in the student lounge last year. With Tony Soprano's words ringing in my mind, it may be time to move from remember when and focus a little more on the present. Over the past year, in spite of global unrest, we've still grown as students, individuals, and professionals. From our little Zoom windows, we've watched our classmates compete in moot court and ADR competitions. We've celebrated personal, academic, and professional achievements. We've celebrated engagements and job offers, and everything in between. How sweet these accomplishments will be when we're able to celebrate them in person, hopefully very soon. Regardless, I take solace in the fact that the adversity our class has faced has only changed the medium through which our story has been told. It cannot alter the narrative itself, that the class of 2021 refused to surrender and that we thrived in spite of hardship. I've always been a class clown and a little irreverent, and if you didn't know that a few minutes ago, you probably do now. However, in all seriousness, I wish to encourage and compel all of us in this graduating class to either continue or to begin our work towards creating a more equitable society. As attorneys, we'll be in positions that allow us to contribute to positive change in the world. It is imperative that we work toward forging a society that is actively anti-racist, inclusive, and not exploitative of marginalized individuals. We must do our part individually and collectively to right the wrongs within our society. I urge the class of 2021 to call for an end to racially motivated violence, to work toward dismantling racist, antiquated policies within our government, to construct a culture that is accessible, welcoming, and celebratory of our differences, be they our race, a disability, or our gender identity. As I reflect on the incredible talents and accolades of our class, I believe that this class has the ability and the tenacity to achieve these goals. I think all of us were aware that studying law would be rigorous. However, I know none of us were prepared for the innumerable obstacles we'd be facing during the second half of our legal education. I'm immeasurably proud of all of us. Our resilience has been tested, and here we are. I know I used my quote quota on some sage insight by a fictional mob boss. However, I think there's one last quote that is apropos in the spirit of commencement. In the first book of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the protagonist, Frodo, learns of the turbulent and tragic conditions of the era in which he was born. He also learns of the actions that those times demand from him. He laments, "I wish it need not have happened in my time." To which his mentor and friend Gandalf responds, "So do I, and so do all who have lived to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." Let us continue to make the most of the time given us, class of 2021. Thank you.
I am Frank Aquila, Chair of the Brooklyn Law School Board of Trustees. On behalf of the board and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I am here to confer upon you the degree that you have truly earned and richly deserved. That is my official role. More importantly, as an alum, I am here to welcome you into the family of Brooklyn Law School alumni who join me in applauding your wonderful, and in this case, I must add, unique accomplishment that we celebrate today. I want to take a moment to also congratulate your family and friends, parents, spouses, partners, siblings, children, who supported you throughout your Brooklyn Law School career. My thanks to them, because as a graduate and as a parent, I know that without such loving support, our most important accomplishments are not possible, especially at this moment in time. You have experienced enormous adversity all too soon in your legal careers. Hardship in succeeding against significant obstacles is nothing new in Brooklyn or at Brooklyn Law School. The law school has a rich legacy of producing great lawyers, jurists, legislators, academicians, entrepreneurs, as well as business and political leaders who have succeeded against long odds. While many of our fellow alums have endured stiff challenges, none have experienced what you have over the last 15 months. Not only have you lived through the deadliest pandemic in modern time, it has been a period of social strife for our society and personal loss and isolation for so many. Simply put, you have been challenged on every level, and you have prevailed. And if you could succeed in this environment, there is nothing you cannot accomplish. To be blunt, we are expecting great things from all of you. There is one thing, though, that I would ask you to reflect upon as you go forward as lawyers and counselors. Never forget the last 15 months. Permit those challenges to allow you to have empathy for those who need your advice and support. It is an ability that far too many of our colleagues at the bar never fully develop. You have already made us very proud, and I am confident you will continue to do so throughout your long and successful careers.
Vani Ram.
I'm Valerie Fitch, a member of the class of 1988 and the president of the Brooklyn Law School Alumni Association. Congratulations on your graduation from Brooklyn Law School. As a member of the class of 2021, you're joining a global community of over 23,000 graduates located all over the world and involved in as many pursuits as I can think of. It's my pleasure to welcome you to that community. We'd especially like to acknowledge your hard work and determination necessary during this very difficult year of COVID. My son Dylan Flanders is a member of your class, so I've seen firsthand that hard work, that determination, that perseverance necessary to push through and obtain your degree. You'll continue to hear from me, Dean Cahill, and the Alumni Office about the many ways you can continue to stay engaged with the law school. But even more importantly, you'll be hearing about the many ways that the law school will be there to support you in the years to come. Today is all about you. Congratulations on all of your accomplishments. You're now members for life of the Brooklyn Law School Alumni Association. I look forward to hearing about all of your future successes.
This is a journey you're starting on tonight. It's going to recreate you in many ways. Sometimes you're going to fight against that. Sometimes you're going to be willing to be changed. But I can honestly say that at the end of 3 or 4 years, you will all be different. At the end of the time, when you marched on the stage for commencement, you're going to basically say, I can't believe it went that quickly. I can't believe I've finished law school so fast. But what you will be at that time is different. Law school introduces you to a new way of seeing, organizing, analyzing, understanding the world, of having a purpose and finding intellectual and personal satisfaction. So I'm going to make a couple of predictions. Maybe they won't all come true, but I bet most of them will. You will change your behavior, your conversation, your relationships. You will gain wisdom and the power that that knowledge provides. You will have skills that you don't have today. You will work harder than you ever have before. But every day, like at the gym, after you're finished, you'll feel good about having stretched those muscles. You will become a helper, a problem solver, and a person who can change the lives of others.